South Africa's political landscape is once again in mourning, as tributes continue to pour in for a prominent member of parliament whose life and legacy have left a mark on the country's evolving political scene. Former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede has led tributes honoring the late Nkosentsha Shezi, a figure widely regarded as a loyal political activist and a committed advocate for radical economic transformation. Shezi, who served as a member of parliament under the Nkosentsha Shezi party, passed away this week at the age of 50 following an illness just a day after his birthday. His passing has not only shaken political circles in KwaZulu-Natal, but has also reignited discussions about loyalty, ideology, and shifting alliances in South African politics. In an emotional tribute, Gumede expressed shock at the news of his death, describing him as a dedicated comrade whose commitment to the struggle never wavered. Shezi's political journey reflects the broader shifts within South Africa's political landscape over the past decade. He began his activism within the African National Congress, rising through structures such as the Youth League and later becoming a branch leader in the South African Democratic Teachers Union. But like many figures aligned with the radical economic transformation faction, his political path would later diverge. Here's what that means for South Africans. Shezi's transition from the ANC to other political formations, including the Economic Freedom Fighters and eventually the MK Party, highlights growing fractures within South Africa's liberation movement. Analysts say these shifts are not just personal decisions, but part of a broader realignment of political forces, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal. His strong support for former President Zuma positioned him firmly within a faction advocating for economic transformation and challenging the current political establishment. Shezi was also a visible figure during key political moments, including the events surrounding Zuma's arrest in 2021, where he publicly criticized the justice system alongside other allies. Those moments cemented his image as a loyal political operator and a vocal supporter of controversial but influential political positions. Tributes have also come from across the political spectrum. Former ally and current Member of Parliament Carl Niehaus described Shezi as more than a colleague, calling him a brother and a lifelong comrade. In a statement, Niehaus reflected on their shared political journey, saying their personal bond remained strong despite shifting party affiliations. This highlights a unique feature of South African politics, where personal alliances often transcend party lines. The MK Party itself has described Shezi as a patriot and a servant of the people, praising his commitment to social justice and the upliftment of marginalized communities. But beyond the tributes, Shezi's passing raises broader political questions. Experts say his death comes at a time when the MK Party is still consolidating its identity and preparing for future electoral battles. The party, closely associated with Zuma, has been gaining traction, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal, a province that remains a key battleground in South African politics. Shezi's role within this movement was significant. As a Member of Parliament, he represented not only his party, but also a constituency of voters who feel disillusioned with traditional political structures. His death may leave a gap, both organizationally and symbolically. Experts warn that replacing such figures is not always straightforward. Individuals like Shezi carry political networks, grassroots influence, and ideological clarity, one analyst noted. Their absence can reshape internal dynamics within a party. At the same time, his legacy may continue to influence the party's direction. Supporters say his commitment to economic transformation and social justice will remain part of the MK Party's core message. Here's the bigger picture. South Africa's political environment is currently undergoing significant change. New parties are emerging, old alliances are shifting, and voter expectations are evolving. Figures like Shezi represent this transition, leaders who moved across political platforms while maintaining a consistent ideological stance. His journey from the ANC to the MK party reflects broader dissatisfaction among certain factions, particularly those who feel that transformation has not gone far enough. And this is where his legacy becomes important. For supporters, Shezi symbolized resilience and loyalty. For critics, his political choices reflected the deep divisions within South Africa's political system. Either way, his impact is undeniable. As funeral arrangements are expected to be announced in the coming days, political leaders, supporters, and communities are likely to gather to pay their final respects. But beyond the ceremonies, the real question is, what happens next? Will his absence weaken the structures he helped build, or will it strengthen the resolve of those who share his vision? Experts say the answer will depend on how political movements adapt and evolve in the coming months. For now, the focus remains on honoring a life that was deeply intertwined with South Africa's political journey. A life marked by activism, loyalty, and a belief in transformation. And as tributes continue, one message stands out clearly, that Nkosentsha Shezi was more than just a politician. He was, to many, a comrade, a brother, and a symbol of a political cause that continues to shape South Africa's future.